Well, hello, folks. This is Jeffrey Daugherty. Welcome to the Jeffrey Daugherty Show. I am the Christian whistleblower. Got a couple of announcements that I'm very excited to make tonight. Number one, we are just days away from going on to a new international radio network. We're just filling the gap here on Google Plus, or what is this? I'm on Google Hangouts. Well, here we are. No matter where you are, we're here, and we are glad to invite you and welcome you to the largest spiritual network on the planet. We're going to be going to a new network very soon. Super excited about that, and we are really looking forward to it. And I'm very happy to announce another stop on the Create Yourself Tour, which will be starting in June. In October, we are happy to be part of the Phantom Fest 2015. You can check that out at www.f as in fan, ANTOMFEST.com, phantomfest.com. I will be one of the keynote speakers at that event and looking very, very forward to it. It's in San Antonio, Texas. It's a city that I really, really enjoy and looking forward to being there. It's going to be at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. So if you're in town, it's a gathering of all things fun, nerdy, weird, and unknown. They have combined their love of cosplay, gaming, and ghost hunting with their passion for horror movies and things unknown, aiming to bring you the most exciting and unique event in Texas. I don't know if I fit under the nerdy, fun, weird, unknown ghost hunting, horror movie, or even the cosplay part of it, but I plan to take part in all of it. Looking forward to being there. And we do still have some dates open on the Create Yourself Tour. I'll speak at churches, fellowships, groups. Of course, we're not talking about Christian churches very often. I have not been asked to speak to one of those in many moons, but if you have conventions like the Phantom Fest, of course, there's really none like the Phantom Fest, but if you have something of that genre, we're happy to speak at that. We'll also be doing book signings, and of course, we'll be doing our Create Yourself work across this great country and bringing you a weekly show called Unexplained America, where we're going to be looking at the things weird, things unknown, things unexplained. That's all kicking off in June with the Create Yourself Tour and our brand new weekly web video show, Unexplained America. Well, tonight I want to talk to you about a subject that I'm entitling Father Abraham Has Bloody Hands. Jeff, what in the world are you talking about? Well, there's been ever since President Obama made his speech to the National Prayer Breakfast, and I know presidents have always been going to the National Prayer Breakfast, and I know that back when I was a Christian minister for 20 years, I thought that was a great thing, but really, does the president have to show up at the National Prayer Breakfast? Isn't that just a little bit silly? I think the president probably has some better things to do than show up at the National Prayer Breakfast, but of course, you've got to keep that conservative block of votes at least halfway interested in you. But this year, President Obama probably would have been better if he would have just stayed home, because he made some comments that have created quite a stir, not only in the Christian community, but even in the paranormal and alternative news community, of which I consider myself a part now. And of course, he made the comments regards to comparing the evils of Christianity with the evils of Islam over the centuries and over the years. And, well, a lot of Christian people are upset at him doing that. But to my surprise, a lot of people within the alternative media paranormal crowd that I hang with, at least, have also raised some concerns about the statements that President Obama made. They are concerned that he equated the crusades of Christianity and the practice of slavery, seem to equate it with jihad and with Islamic expansionism and Islamic conquest. And he made the statements that, you know, Christianity is just as bad, Christianity is just as guilty, Christianity is just as guilty. Well, some of my friends have made the distinction that if you compare the width and breadth of the Crusades with the width and breadth of Islamic expansionism and with jihad, then you really cannot compare what has taken place in Islamic warfare with what took place in quote unquote Christian warfare. They make the statement that you can't compare Islamic conquest and the Crusades because Islamic conquest was much more far-reaching than the Crusades, was much covered a much wider area than the Crusades, and covered a lot more people than the Crusades. And if you're listening to this on YouTube after the live version, then you'll be able to see on the show page the picture of the map that compared the extent of the Crusades to the extent of Islamic expansionism. And if you look at it in that tight focus, then yes, the two really cannot be compared because there's a great gulf between the size of Christian expansionism, specifically a great gulf in the size and breadth of the Crusades versus the length and width and breadth of jihad or Islamic expansionism. Remember, for 20 years, I was a Christian minister, a Pentecostal evangelist. But, folks, I have to say that if you compare Islamic conquest and the Crusades, you're really not comparing apples to apples. You're not comparing oranges to oranges, mangoes to mangoes, grapes to grapes. We could go on and on. You're not comparing things that are the same. Now, I remember back when I was a Christian evangelist, there was a little Sunday school song. It kind of went like, Father Abraham has many sons has Father Abraham, and I am one, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord, or something like that. But I have my own song, and it is a song of more reality. And this is probably the first and last time you'll ever hear me sing in this broadcast. But my song says, Father Abraham had bloody hands. Bloody hands had Father Abraham's, not just the Jews, the Christians and Muslims too. So let's just tell the truth. The truth is, folks, when you compare apples to apples, you get a much different picture. The reason being that when you compare Islamic conquest to the Crusades, that's not the real question, because the Crusades were only a tiny, minuscule part of Christian expansionism and Christian conquest. What, Jeffrey Daugherty, are you saying? Are you saying that there was Christian conquest, that there was Christian expansionism? What I'm saying, folks, is it's very likely that Muhammad took his cues from Paul. Muhammad took his cues from Constantine, because when you put together the Pauline and the Constantine effort at conquest, you get a picture that mirrors almost exactly and now has grown far beyond the level of Islamic conquest. Jeff, what in the world are you talking about? Well, in 325 AD, when Constantine made Christianity, aka Roman Catholicism, and all you Protestants don't feel like you're being excused from the table, because basically a Protestant is just a Catholic that's not afraid of holy water. I mean, come on, it's the same thing right down the road. Maybe you don't worship Mary as much as they do, but it's the same single thing. You both eat at the trough of Paul. Christianity is the same, whether it's Catholic or whether it's Protestant. Let's be honest, boys and girls. And in 325, when Constantine said, hey, Christianity is the religion of the Roman Empire, do you know what happened from then on? No, you don't, because history doesn't talk about it, because history is written by the winners, and the winners don't want you to know this. The kings that ruled all of the countries in Western Europe, some of them even in Eastern Europe, all the kings that ruled all the countries that were under the Roman Empire received an order to convert your people. So what happened was the Christian kings, each pretty much to their own country, went out and gave people a choice: convert or die. Because, folks, Western Europe was mainly pagan. You had people that were happy and content worshiping in their own regional religions. And then this mandate to turn Christian comes down. And this is where the mark of the beast came from. I know this is not what Nicolas Cage movies tell you, but the mark of the beast, if you look at it and study it from a linguistic point of view, the mark of the beast was just the inability to buy or sell unless you were converted to the new religion. Unless you were using Roman coinage and were a Roman citizen, you could not buy or sell, or at least were a Roman subject. That's where the mark of the beast came up. The mark of the beast is not the number of a man. The mark of the beast is the number of mankind. We've got a new book coming out called The Final Message of the Last Apostle, Aliens in the New Testament, and that's all in there. You want to get a hold of it, I'll let you know as soon as it is ready. But the kings went out and converted their own people. And these people didn't just say, okay, great, we'll give up this religion we've been practicing all our lives and become Christians. No, a lot of them resisted, but they had a choice. We will kill your children, we will kill your wife, we will make you watch, and then we'll kill you, or you can convert. And that's very, very similar to what the forces of Islam did. The forces of Islam went into countries and said, hey, look, we're taking over. You can either convert or you can die. Or maybe, Islam was even a little bit more nice, I guess, than Christianity. You can keep your old religion. You just can't worship and practice it anywhere other than where we tell you, and you got to pay us a tax when you do. So really, when these Christian people are complaining about how can Obama say that we are just as bad as the Muslims, Obama really did make a mistake, because you're worse than the Muslims. You're worse than the practitioners of Islam, because you didn't even give the people a chance to keep worshiping in their own way and pay a tax. You said turn or die. That's the real. I remember when I was a preacher, we had this saying, it's heaven or hell, turn or burn. Well, it must have got started after 325 AD when the call went out throughout the provinces of the Roman Empire to either convert or die. And when you compare the area of Western Europe that was swept by Christianity, and you thought the monks went with their funny haircuts and their long robes and just preached to everybody and they got converted. Come on, folks. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Wake up, smell the coffee, slap yourself, dunk your head in some cold water. That ain't the way it happened, folks. It was, here's the new religion. Either you take it or you are dead. Resistance, as the Borg said, was futile. And if you look at that, the area of Christian expansionism versus the area of Islamic expansionism, it's at least equal, but I say the Christians were worse because they didn't give you the chance to keep your own stuff like the Muslims did. And guess what? Only the Christians made the jump across the ocean and came and conquered America. And if you don't think they conquered America, find a Native American and ask them if you can find a Native American, because they killed most of them. So, folks, the fact of the matter is that Father Abraham has bloody hands. Judaism is an Abrahamic religion. Read the Old Testament, and you'll read about bloodshed, conquest, and ethnic cleansing. Christians have bloody hands. They conquered their own people and gave them the chance to either die or convert. Muslims have bloody hands with the military conquests of Muhammad. And folks, listen. Abrahamic religions, they're all the same. They're all one just as guilty as the other. If you are in an Abrahamic religion, Father Abraham has bloody hands, and so do you. So let's just tell the truth. Let's just tell it like it is. And the best thing you can do is wash your hands of the whole thing, because until you do, you're guilty as charged. And Obama, you know what? He might have just had it right. Until tomorrow, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Contact me at jeff@christianwhistleblower.com, gothamltd@gmail.com, or christianwhistleblower@gmail.com. I'm at NC Gabala on Twitter. Catch me on Facebook, Jeffrey Daugherty Show and Jeff Daugherty. Until tomorrow, Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, wishing you peace and light.